Hey guys, I have got Jim Garrett and Brett Luther here, and we're going to talk about the transition from summer to fall, where to find these crappie, how to catch them, how to put them on the hook. If you would, hit that subscribe button. Please like this video. Now let's talk fishing. Well, Brett, for coming into fall, most people think that the fish are going to start migrating towards deeper water. Is that what you find this time of year? And right now it is the 4th of November.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about Reelfoot Lake. We're here right now. Fall transition. We had what cold front 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Went
Cold
from
too, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, we came.
Cold.
Yeah, we had a really nice dry beginning of late summer, early fall, and then boom, here it comes. 25 degrees is low
Yeah, it was cold.
overnight.
That much frost on our boats.
We had a lot of frost. I mean,
He was the only one that covered his
I know
boat
he
up.
was a smart one, wasn't
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's your first rodeo,
That's
isn't it?
right. You always cover the boats up, no doubt. Anything happens. So yeah, I mean, we have that exact situation right now, and I haven't been unfortunately fishing as much here lately, but I can tell you, the fish were they're definitely out here on Reelfoot Lake. They seem to be some middle range of the trees. We're
Yeah.
in deeper water. We're in 10 feet to 15 feet at times. We're looking kind of depending on where the sun is and the temperature and whatever's going on. You can't be scared to look all the way down to the mud of the base of these trees, right?
Yes, for sure.
And I think that's where a lot of these people miss out on a lot of opportunities of not really dissecting each tree down sometimes. Whenever you get a pattern down like yesterday, we're in 10 feet, 17 feet of water. And, the easy ones are easy to see 4 feet off the bottom,
Yes.
halfway up the tree or whatever the case might be. But really taking your time and seeing that lump that's laying on the bottom or the little something, a bright return, giving it a shot, that seemed to work yesterday.
Now, you said the easy ones, setting 4 foot off the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Explain to me. I know what you're talking about, but some of these people may not.
Yeah, the easy ones. I mean, whenever you're scanning through, you have to slow yourself down in timber. Let's be honest. You can't scan 80 feet and just know what you're looking at as you go. But I'm scanning 40 feet, 50 feet at times. And the easy ones are, if we know that they're on timber, are the ones 4 feet, 5 feet, halfway up the tree, and they're just stuck to their nose to it. And you can hit that return pretty often.
And those are the high percentage fish.
High percentage fish are usually there for a reason. You don't catch them all, and not all of them are biting that great right now. But there's plenty of them out there that are eating.
Yeah.
How'd you like it down here on Real Foot yesterday, man?
It was awesome, man.
I'll tell you what, we did. We jacked them up, folks. We jacked them up hard yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We had a great time, man. We had a couple of the riders on our boat, and we had a ball.
For any of y'all that don't know, we're holding our on the hook media camp here yesterday and today, and that's why I've got all these great fishermen in here, and that's why I wanted to take this opportunity to share some of the knowledge about fishing, and especially like these guys don't fish real foot that much, and it was pretty simple. You hit a boat launch, you go out to the break, and then fish are going to be somewhere close to that break. It did seem to me that they are kind of in a transition. I saw something yesterday I've never saw before in my life. All right. I was in 14 feet of water. The stump went from the bottom all the way to the top and down the side of that tree. Every inch of that tree was covered, stacked from top to bottom with pound and a quarter.
Was the tree straight up and down, or was
Straight up and down. It was straight up and down. The only time I've ever seen that is when the tree was crooked or leaning up against another tree.
Yep.
I've seen them do that, and
Love
sometimes
those.
they'll lay on top of it and almost blend in
Yeah.
where you think it's a knot.
Yep.
And it's actually a big old crappie.
And
Yeah.
sometimes when they're sitting like that, they're on the downwind side of it, ready to jump on that bait.
No, they're
Yes,
in predator
sir.
mode. Yeah,
They're ready.
they're ready to eat. Yeah.
Like back home
Yeah.
right now, this is not nothing.
Where is
Like
back home for you, Jim?
Central Illinois, Champaign.
Okay.
We right now our fish are going from deep to shallow.
Are they really?
We're catching fish in 5-6 foot of water right now.
He's fishing for Yankee fish. There's something wrong with it.
And that's the deal. You have to. I mean, we're saying it right now. You have to understand each lake you go to, they're not going to fish the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone is
there's a
different.
lot. It goes to, I mean, food source ultimately, right?
Also, you got down here, down south. I don't know how your guys' thermocline is.
Right.
Ours up north, you got a thermocline, and then we got that turnover, and then the fishing is on.
A lot of things are changing.
And our lake freezes up there, so the fish are putting on their feed bag before the ice comes. And
That is, since you brought that up, it's odd. I've never saw a thermocline on Reelfoot Lake.
wow.
Now it turns over about once a year. It'll turn over, and like on live scope, when it's in that turnover, you can't see anything on the live scope. It's like being in the middle of a bunch of pollen. Just all you see is just
Blurry.
a blurred out,
Interference
blurry
with it.
screen.
Yeah.
And it's extremely hard to catch those fish then. The only way you can catch them is they are sitting on the side of a stump.
Yeah.
We caught some in open water yesterday, just suspended, sitting still in open water. And honestly, I think they was trying to decide what to do. Was they going to 10 foot? Was they going to 17 foot?
Right.
And yes, Reelfoot does have up to 23 foot depth of water. No, I'm not going to give you GPS coordinates, but I know where it's at, and it is there, I assure you. I stayed in 13 to 14 foot of water yesterday, and all day long, I don't think I moved 150 yards. And we caught some giants, and we caught just some good eating fish. On other lakes, though, most of the time, this time of year, this is where I start finding them out at the mouths of creeks, right on the edge of the main channel. And that's where I find them all the way through the winter. I really do think a lot of people overthink the transition. Spawn, they'll travel and go super shallow.
Yep.
Summer to winter, they might move a quarter mile. I mean, depending on the lake, of course. River systems are a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking about Kentucky Lake while you talk about this, and it's yeah, you're right. I mean, those fish right now on Kentucky Lake, you can catch 15 feet is where I would be looking the whole time. In the winter transition, fall transition.
On flat or on ledge or towards the mouth?
Ledges are always good areas to find. And flats, they'll be on flats as well. I scatter it around for sure and just look everywhere now because sometimes it just takes one or two piles of some brush and you've caught everything you need to for the day.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, every lake's kind of different, and I'm jumping back and forth here. I was sitting there thinking about how good the fish were yesterday and how healthy
oh my God,
They ain't they?
Yeah, you
They
hear
are
about
big.
it, and it's a little different here.
There's
Grenada has their
something
style of
different.
thickness, and there's something different about Reelfoot crappie right here. It's really cool.
Reelfoot and Grenada have those two things in common.
Yep.
The fish are almost always healthy.
Yep.
Now, dead of summer, August, dog days of summer, a 15-inch fish here might only weigh pound 70, pound 80. Kentucky Lake, it's going to weigh what, pound 20?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll lighten
pound
up.
a quarter.
Lighten up on it. Yep.
I don't know. It's something about the mineral in the water here in Grenada. Those longer fish keep some of that fat on them all through the summer. I caught a 270 here on August 26th.
During the hot part,
August 26th, I caught a 270 here. Now, if I caught that fish in the spawn, I really think it'd been somewhere in that 360 range. It was it had a mouth like the end of that coffee cup right there.
Love it.
Illinois, you fishing any of those power plant lakes?
I fished Clinton Lake. I got on Clinton Lake.
So Clinton is a power plant.
Clinton
Is that the one you was talking about? They was going shallow right now.
Shelbyville, Lake Shelbyville.
Shelbyville,
and also Clinton. They had a shutdown on the power plant. They did some maintenance, so they had it shut down, and now they got it fired back up. And then black crappie are gonna go shallow.
Okay.
Yeah, but Lake Shelbyville right now is in the transition from the late summer, fall coming into winter. Our water temperature, I think, up there is 46 degrees right now.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I don't think there was a fall this year.
No,
because yesterday I put on tennis shoes, and if y'all follow this channel, I had on tennis shoes. It is winter time.
It is cold.
At Reelfoot. It is winter time at Reelfoot.
they're running shallow right now. I'm taking some bets out tomorrow, and we're gonna be fishing 5 foot of water. So
Black crappie.
black and whites on Shelbyville.
Did y'all catch any black crappie out here yesterday? they're
Three.
starting to pull. You caught
We
three?
caught three.
They're starting to pull out of the swamp. A lot of people wonder where the black crappie go during the summer here. Well, here there's about a half a mile of swamp there that on the inside that you can't get to. I mean, it's inside the cypress trees, and they'll be sitting up there with their dorsal fin sticking out of the water.
They're in the lily pads and the cypress trees and all the things.
Well, see, that's the thing. The cypress, the lily pads right now are pretty well rotted, so they got to find some place to go. They are starting to transition out into that deeper water too right now. And I caught one giant black crappie out there 10 days ago. I mean, just a stud. And I was like, man, where are all the rest of them at? And you're going to start seeing those more and more going into the winter, which is good because even in the winter, December, January, everybody's out there duck hunting. You'll hear them firing off at them ducks, and I'll be over here jacking some crappie. You can still fish the lower basin just fine, even with them duck hunting.
Right.
We guide all year here, and people just forget about the crappie because it gets cold. Now, granted, these times it gets too cold for me. If I got to put on boots, I ain't going.
That's every day up there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cold.
So what do you see happening going into the winter as it gets colder than what it is right now?
So when our water temperature hits the low 40s, upper 30s, they really put the feed bag on. They'll go to stake beds in 4 or 5 foot of water and sit there. And then right when it gets 33-degree water temperature, they start pulling out.
What's your best presentation whenever they're on those stake beds?
Yeah. Vertical jig. Yeah.
You ever do corking anything with
We do some
bobbers?
corking, but they want it still when the water's that cold. You know, the metabolism is real low, but they're still feeding.
Force feed them there.
Yeah, you just hold it in that stake bed. I mean, when you pull up to a stake bed, there'll be 500 crappie in it. It's crazy. And you just
load it up.
Now, do you downsize real small?
No, well, I use a 16th with a crappie monster uppercut.
There you go. There's some pro staff coming in there.
I love that. I love that bait.
Now, see, a lot of us that are out here chasing in the southern lakes, we're using a quarter. I used to use a 3/8 head with a number 2 light wire hook. I mean, funny looking little old jig. But out there chasing, that's what I used. And now pretty well everybody has gone to, and I think you was the first one that I saw using a smaller jig, even in the summer, with a big weight above it so you can push around to them.
Get to it, yeah.
Now, you're still using mono or 4/0?
4/0.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was always a braid guy, and I decided to come over and try the 4/0 side of life.
Yep. I went there, and once I did, I loved it. The braid it knots up too bad. It just gets in the way. It's the
wrap around the end
wrap
of the
around
pole.
the end of the pole. It just does too much. But then even the sinker and so forth, it's you lose in tournament fishing, any kind of fishing, but especially tournament fishing. You have split seconds sometimes to drop on fish and whatever the case may be, and little errors of just trying to get it down there quick and it wrapped up. I can't get that fish because I'm now back out. I've got to unwrap something, and now I'm trying to get to the fish.
And the 4/0 will give you enough stiffness in between that weight and your jig as it's falling down to not let it wrap all the way up.
Okay. And fluoro being fluoro, clear line, I feel more confident in that. But will they eat with braid? Absolutely. We know how that works.
Yeah.
So fluoro might help him maybe 1 or 2 fish that wouldn't have done it or something.
I had the same problem with the braid, wrapping stuff. So I went to a heavier braid. I went to 40 pounds.
Yep.
And I don't have that trouble.
Yep.
I just don't know if it's stiffer. You know what I mean? Like you said,
40-pound braid for crappie.
I use 40-pound braid. That's all I use. Every rod I have is rigged up with 40-pound braid.
Okay.
Unless shooting docks.
Hey man, I ain't gonna say nothing. I was using braid way back before it was cool. I was using 20-pound braid 5 years ago fishing for crappie, and I got to be a big fan of it. But back then I didn't have live scope. I was just dropping on piles, just straight vertical jigging. I didn't have a weight above it. And now using the braid, I flip out and I let it come back. That way it's falling together.
Right.
But the downfall to that is to do it like that, I've got to have the jig head in comparison to the weight above it pretty close.
Right. And you mentioned, you were using 3/8 ounce hook weights and then tying a weight above it. Up there where we're from, you ain't gotta do that. We're chasing fish in 4, 5, 6 foot of water.
Mm-hmm.
So I just use a jig.
Yeah,
I
just
don't have
use
to have
just
a
the
weight.
jig. Yeah, no
And
weight.
I don't like the feel of the weight. Some
Right.
people do, some people
Right.
don't.
Right.
I don't. So,
Mm-hmm.
but here, we noticed when we came down and did a little fishing on Wednesday that I had to use a smaller bait. So I got a weight above it right now.
And that's a real good key going into winter. I start going smaller. Like my small fry I used yesterday, I bit over half of that bait off and then put it on the hook to get the smaller profile.
Yep.
Their metabolism slows down in the cold water. They don't want to expend the energy to eat a big bait. So the smaller bait, if it's not a crunchy munch bite, go to a smaller bait, and that can help entice those fish to go ahead and close the deal.
Yep.
Well, guys, I think breakfast is ready over here.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all being with us.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's been a fun time.
Guys, till next week, Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, we'll be coming back at you with another great video and hopefully be able to get to some more people that you don't normally get to see here on this channel. Hit that subscribe button, like this video. We'll see you next week.